Hi, second grade. Today I am going to be reading The Signmaker's Assistant. I want you to take out your reading street book so that you can follow along with me. I am reading on page 332. Okay, 332. So find that page. Now, The Signmaker's Assistant was written by Ted Arnold. At the bottom of page 332, it tells me the genre of the story. It says, humorous fiction is a funny story about imaginary people and events. Look for the funny things that happen in this story. Then the question of the week says, how can we be responsible when we make a mistake? So think about if you've ever made a mistake, have you taken responsibility for that? Or have you tried to blame it on someone else or say, oop, that wasn't me? So how can we be responsible when we make a mistake? Okay, I'm on page 334, and I want you to follow along with me, okay? Now, I want you to remember that good readers always use pictures to give them clues about the story. So I want you to make sure that you look at each of the pictures to try and figure out what is going to happen in the story, okay? I want you to put your finger on the word everyone. Everyone in town agreed. The old sign maker did the finest work for miles around. Under his brush, ordinary letters became beautiful words. Words of wisdom, words of warning, or words that simply said which door to use. When he painted stop, people stopped because the sign looked so important. When he painted, please keep off the grass, they kept off the grass because the sign was polite and sensible. When he painted good food, they just naturally became hungry. People thanked the sign maker and paid him well. But the kind old man never failed to say, I couldn't have done it without Norman's help. Wow, look at that sign that he made that says good food. It's actually making me kind of hungry. Spaghetti and meatballs. Okay, turn the page. Norman was the sign maker's assistant. Oh, look at Norman up by the window. Each day after school, he cut wood, mixed colors, and painted simple signs. Soon I will have a shop of my own, said Norman. Perhaps, answered the sign maker, but not before you clean these brushes. One day, after his work was done, Norman stood at a window over the sign shop and watched people. They stopped at the stop sign. They entered at the enter sign. They ate under the good food sign. They do whatever the sign says, said Norman to himself. I wonder what he's thinking. So look at that picture up above. What do you think Norman is thinking of doing? He crept into the shop while the sign maker napped. That means he was taking a nap, he was sleeping. With brush and board, he painted a sign of his own. Early the next morning, he put up the sign, then ran back to his window to watch. No school, muttered the principal. How could I forget such a thing? No one informed me, said the teacher. Hooray, cheered the children, and everyone went home. Oh my goodness, so Norman was right. Everybody just paid attention to the signs. Okay, I'm on page 338. Follow along with me. This is great, cried Norman. He looked around town for another idea. "Oh," he said at last, "there is something I have always wanted to do." Oh no. Look at the picture. Do you see that fountain? And then read the sign. It says open for swimming. Do you think they're supposed to be swimming in a fountain? Let's see what happens. The following day, Norman jumped from the top of the fountain in the park. As he swam, he thought to himself, "I can do lots of things with signs." Ideas filled his head. That afternoon, when Norman went to work, the sign maker said, "I must drive to the next town and paint a large sign on a storefront. I'll return tomorrow evening, so please lock up the shop tonight." As soon as the sign maker was gone, Norman started making signs. I wonder what he's going to paint. Let's see. Oh, look at the pictures so that it gives you clues, okay? He painted for hours and hours and hours. In the morning, people discovered new signs all around town. Oh goodness, look at that first sign. It says bank closed, and then the trash can says deposit money here. And then, look at the sign in the middle, eat your hat. That's a weird one. And then the last one, it's a toy shop, and on the door it says, buy Norman a present. I wonder if people are actually going to do what that sign says. Turn the page. Wow, they did. Oh my goodness, look at that picture. He's got so many presents. Go back 3 spaces. Uh-oh. Norman watched it all and laughed until tears came to his eyes because he was laughing so hard. But soon he saw people becoming angry. Oh, that last one says knock heads. That means bump heads with each other. I know people who have bumped their heads and it's been not very good. So don't do that. Look at all those signs. I'm going to give you a moment so you can look at all those signs. If you want, you can even pause the video right now so you can look at the pictures. The sign maker is playing tricks, they shouted. He has made fools of us. The teacher tore down the no school today sign. Suddenly, people were tearing down all the signs, not just the new ones, but every sign the sign maker had ever painted. Oh my goodness, even the good ones. They were so angry that they were just tearing down all the signs. What do you think happens if all the signs are torn down? Even the ones that say stop, even the ones that say enter here. What do you think would happen if all the signs were gone? I'm on page 344. Follow along with me. Then the real trouble started. Without store signs, shoppers became confused. Without stop signs, drivers didn't know when to stop. Without street signs, firemen became lost. In the evening, when the sign maker returned from his work in the next town, he knew nothing of Norman's tricks. An angry crowd of people met him at the back door of his shop and chased him into the woods. As Norman watched, he suddenly realized that without signs and without the sign maker, the town was in danger. "It's all my fault," cried Norman, but no one was listening. Late that night, the sign maker returned and saw a light on in his shop. Norman was feverishly painting. While the town slept and the sign maker watched, Norman put up stop signs, shop signs, street signs, danger signs, and welcome signs, in and out signs, large and small signs, new and beautiful signs. He returned all his presents and cleared away the garbage at the grocery store. It was morning when he finished putting up his last sign for the entire town to see. Can you read that sign? What does it say? Don't blame the sign maker. I tricked you and I'm sorry. Norman. Oh, that's nice that he took responsibility of his actions. Then Norman packed his things and locked up the shop. But as he turned to go, he discovered the sign maker and all the townspeople gathered at the door. I know you're angry with me for what I did, said Norman, with downcast eyes, so I'm leaving. Oh, we were angry all right, answered the school principal. But we were also fools for obeying your signs without thinking. You told us you were sorry, said the sign maker, and you fixed your mistakes. So stay and work hard. One day, this shop may be yours. Perhaps, answered Norman, hugging the old man, but not before I finish cleaning those brushes. The end.